Hello, Rental and Staging Network from the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, North Carolina, which perhaps for you, like me, was my last business trip approximately 1 year ago, to our December meeting on Zoom, and now to this Vendor Academy Day, we meet again. I am so pleased to be here, but more importantly, I am so pleased that you have decided to be here as well. Insurance is not the most exciting topic for those other than me who do not live it, but it's an important one for you as business owners, because the wrong insurance or the wrong insurance approach can have a disastrous result. I think by now you know me as someone who tries to do things a little differently, who tries to understand your business through your eyes. This is a reason I am so proud to be part of this organization. My business model is more of a thought leader approach. My business model tries to reinvent how insurance in the world of live events best protects you, your business, your people better. Because let's face it, that is the value of insurance. With this presentation, I will continue that theme of thought leadership to bring about a hopeful connection between us as we try to figure out the new normal in our world. To Don and Lynn and everyone at RSN for making this happen, thank you. To you, the members, thank you. If you have invited along your trusted insurance agent source, as I hope you have, welcome. This has been a year like no other, as those pictures in the beginning showed. We have all felt it as individuals and as an industry. COVID-19 cut to the heart of the live events experience, making it difficult or impossible for people to gather, to express their creativity, to enjoy the unique delights of live performance. Now, as the vaccines roll out, we can begin to look ahead to the coming weeks and months as people emerge from their isolation, to begin to come together again to attend live events. How do we reopen? What's changed? What hasn't? I think that as we move forward, we should think about what brought us safety and stability in the past and what new strategies we must employ to keep performers, staff, and audiences safe in the future. From the standpoint of Take1, safety has always been a cornerstone of who we are and how we operate. We were an early and enthusiastic supporter of the Event Safety Alliance and safety training in general. So let's start by reviewing those best practices in insurance strategies that have served us well. These will not change. And let's hear it not from me, but from live events experts in our industry, from rental and staging practitioners, to the agents and underwriters who serve them well, and a safety expert dedicated to keeping all of us productive and whole.
I've only had 2 insurance brokers in the last 37 years. And when we were exploring the opportunities of who to work with to get the best solution for the AV program, Take1 stood out from everyone else, because Take1 understood the business and understood the nomenclature of what we were trying to accomplish, and it had a number of carriers. So even though I go to a broker, but my broker recognized that they couldn't get through the menagerie of the understanding of the business, and Take1 as a specialty company really overcame those obstacles, and that's why we stick with them for many years, because they've solved a lot of the problems and the challenges we've had facing our industry.
Any good relationship, there's trust there, right? When you have trust, you have a solid foundation. So when I come and work with you and your company, I know that A, you're going to pick up the phone. I know that you're going to be open to conversations. You're going to be open to questions. There might be things that I just want to unpack with you, and there might be some things that I really don't quite understand. So I know that I'm going to go to you. I'm going to get answers that I need, or you guys are going to go and get me those answers. So it basically, for me, it's like, it's confidence, it's trust, and it's the back and forth.
Over the years, we've had a substantial amount of business, mostly good business, but we've also had a few claim hits here and there, which is the norm in this world. And it's been a great relationship.
Have a very specialized knowledge in this space. They are our boots on the ground for rental. They're very clued in with this market segment. Us as underwriters, we understand the space, but we are not intimately involved with all of the players. We are not always on site. We rely on them to get us the information so we can underwrite these accounts. They are absolute experts in this space. We trust them implicitly.
you're an advocate for agents like myself. You can either work directly with the insured's direct agent on placements, or you can work with someone like me that's an individual agent that may or may not have any kind of relationship to the insured itself. The entertainment industry is a very small industry in the insurance world, and you and Take1 have the inside track on being able to speak with all of them at the same time. And I'm able to access that through you while going through the underwriting and proposal stage with all of the carriers. Since I use Take1 primarily, I think that one of the benefits is that when I do mention Take1 as one of my leading partners, people start to have name recognition on this.
Best practices are the best foundation, but COVID has added a new and challenging dimension to live events, one we must face and overcome. How have our experts responded to the challenges, and what new strategies and technologies can get us out of the hole we're in? How will they respond to the pent-up demand? Will we go from pandemic to pandemonium, as one of our experts predicts? Will it be a more gradual transition? We've all seen how streaming events have filled the gap in live experiences. Will the hybrid approach, part live, part streaming, be the new normal? And will the hybrid approach offer new business opportunities for the rental and staging industry? Here are some answers to the question we all must answer.
I think we're all facing new challenges, right? We're facing the challenge of COVID, and that's unilateral. That's every sector of our business, including the insurance sector. And if I'm not mistaken, the insurers took quite a bit of a hit as a result of COVID. And like many businesses that support live events, we've lost some really great providers. So I think the question really might be, how can we work together alongside of the insurance policymakers to get to getting back to business?
Our industry is, everyone will say has shrunk. Really what the reality is, our industry is solely driven by the fact that people and corporations have to feel comfortable deploying their employees to go to meetings and events. And when that comfort is there and people don't want to feel awkward and they don't want to demand their employees go to a place where they may or may not be uncomfortable. So that's why virtual events have really taken off in the last 6 or 8 months, and that's become the new normal.
We do expect a full recovery and a return to normal. How quickly that happens, I think, is up to the public confidence. Being in live events, how quickly do our customers feel that people are going to be comfortable coming to and interacting with other people in the type of scale that they used to?
Safety is going to be a primary concern. Having events and having them safely where people are comfortable going into group settings is going to be paramount. That's going to be the number one for everyone, from the standpoint of a risk management of the insured holding events to the people who are going to be attending these events, that everybody's going to be safe and we're going to be able to have events and they're going to be sustainable, and we're not going to have shutdowns, we're not going to have setbacks.
I think it's fairly safe to say operationally backstage and the things that we control, venues and the like, we'll do our due diligence. We'll do everything necessary to minimize the risk of spreading COVID. The audience component is one that we have a challenge with. Like, can we get policy written, not COVID policy, not COVID cancellation, but can we get all the other policy needs addressed, liability and the like, so that we can go back to work? Many of the discussions we're having today focus around bringing the insurance sector back into the equation so we can get live events happening again.
When I'm talking to my clients and asking about what they're doing in their safety protocols, or really what I like to ask them is, hey, what are you doing right now? Are you looking to get better?
Let's highlight a few of those things. Let's highlight a few of the challenges, shall we? That can the venue demonstrate that its air handling system is up to whatever the latest presumed needs are? Is the filtration system up to whatever the latest presumed needs are? Has the venue escalated its high-touch pathogen mitigation policy, meaning is everybody in the venue trained to know what they need to do to help mitigate risk? Is there a timed entrance and exit policy? Is there a way to ensure that if there is a non-compliant mask wearer arriving at the venue, they are prohibited from entering? And so can we, at first, take care of all of the venue needs?
An interesting kind of some feedback I had recently, I said, how's your workforce? Are they itching to get back? And they were explaining that we've lost some of it. So as we prepare to get back, we need to actually go out and recruit some new blood into the industry.
Something that would help us be safer on site, right? So it's not just, hey, we've spent 12 months quarantining. How do we go back and worry about that? But just the regular things of being on site with a lot of equipment that can be dangerous if you're not careful about it. And again, I think that's the kind of muscle memory stuff that maybe we were very good at in the past that probably people need to be refreshed on. So
you've been dormant for 10 months. You bring your guys back. Let's protect your guys, and then let's protect, make sure you're not having any accidents. Because the last thing you want to do is come out of this, make it through this pandemic as a company, and then have a major accident, right? Because you're going to be the new part of the industry moving forward. Let's not put a black eye on the start.
It's important to recognize that we're going to enter back into business in a less than stable state. We've been parked now for greater than a year. Our intuitive and instinctive nature of how we do our job, regardless of what that job is, has been dulled. Those senses have been dulled. Forklift drivers, riggers, production managers, bus drivers, truck drivers. We've lost our muscle memory. We're in a different place emotionally. We've been scarred. We're going to come back with PTSD. We're going to come back anxious. We're going to come back nervous. We're going to come back confused about the environment because we've been out of it for so long. And this is a heightened period for accidents to happen. It's a dangerous time in these first few shows, this first 6 months, as we rebuild our instinct. And so it's important, I think, that the leaders in the live event space, the leaders in the vendor provisioning space, the crew chiefs, everybody take a breath and everybody recognize that we're all coming from the same place. So I call on our leaders, I call on our crew chiefs, I call on our vendor owners. Make room for people to get back on their feet. Try to embrace that. Try to be prepared for how to answer those questions. Try to be prepared for how to make everybody feel stronger than they currently are coming out of the shadows. If, in fact, we're going to carry a health passport for the foreseeable future that demonstrates that we've taken the vaccine, and that becomes used as an entry mechanism for an audience member or an entry mechanism for a staff member, what do we do with 30% of the population that has stated that they're not going to take the vaccine? Do we just eliminate them? Do we say they're not welcome? I don't think that's reasonable. So is there something short of a PCR test or a rapid antigen test that would allow us to verify someone's health prior to entering a venue? Well, possibly there is. I've been in conversation with a medical team that's developed a device that's a constant monitoring device that lasts up to 90 days, and it looks at an algorithm of details from you. It establishes what your baseline is over 7 days. And the science that is being purported to be meaningful here is that by the time we get to this spike in temperature of 100.3 or 4 Fahrenheit, the infection's already in you for some period of time. And some people don't even get to that temperature spike. But if I'm in a constant wearable that's looking at me all the time, and it knows that the Jim Digby rides at 97.3, 7 days out of the week under normal circumstances, if I start to trend away from my 97.3, it's a good sign that something's going on in my body. The medical science, from what I understand, supports the idea that the moment the infection starts to take hold, you start to have these micro increases in your temperature, your respiratory rate, your heart rate, potentially even your cough rate. It's possible for us to catch that virus in the very early stages, at the very least, I think about the trouble of getting an artist to leave their home into an environment like this where we don't really know what's happening. If this were on all staff, you could say that the staff who's shown up to work today has all demonstrated that they are green, good to go. So it's another mechanism rather than administering an antigen test every day or a PCR test every day. This particular potential solution is a 90-day window on an individual before the battery dies. So we hope that in the near future, we've at least demonstrated that this tool is additive to our toolbox. You're still going to wear your mask. You're still going to wash your hands. We're still going to physically distance as best we can. This device potentially also has a contact tracing component to it where it Bluetooth meshes to other devices. So if you're within the parameter of 6 feet for greater than 15 minutes of someone who's infected, it automatically sends you an alert. But yeah, it's an exciting possibility that this tool might give us operationally something else to go on rather than administering a PCR, a rapid antigen test every day.
I think it's going to be a big pendulum swing, and it's going to go really fast.
We feel maybe even in the last 2 to 3 weeks that we're turning a corner. I'm comfortably confident that by the time we hit third quarter, we're going to be seeing a major change in what's been our last 12 months.
You're going to start to see real work and meetings and events and entertainment starting in the third quarter in a meaningful way. The fourth quarter is going to be bananas. So we're going to go from pandemic to pandemonium.
But what I'm seeing is customers are starting to get busy again. And just in my little sandbox, they are hiring folks back. This is really my key barometer, is that I've got a lot of folks in the video wall space, right? And you don't need video walls unless you're going to have crowds of people. I think that our society in general is desperate to get back out and go to live events. Well, I think things will get back to normal quickly once the ball starts to roll. It's just, when does that ball start to roll?
I mean, it's Q3, probably, California, maybe Q4, and then, everybody's like 2022, we're back in business. Let's hope the second half of 2021 gets our people working again.
The rental and staging group has weathered it fairly well comparatively since live events have been altogether shut down. As things are opening up, and they will open up, the human spirit is strong. People are going to want to go to events. We've been locked down for a year now. The fact that people weren't able to do it for so long, it's going to be a breath of fresh air where people can actually go. It's going to drive enthusiasm. I think that it's going to grow quickly throughout the year, and I think it's going to bounce back. A year from now, we'll be looking at this as a bad memory.
So we're going to go from pandemic to pandemonium.
All excellent observations and much food for thought. I'm so happy that people joined me on this presentation to share their thoughts with you. But when all is said, we know that creative people must be creative and communicators must communicate. We also know that there's no replacement for the live experience in arts, entertainment, or commerce. We agree with these industry leaders that things are opening up because we have all been receiving inquiries and the turnaround times have been shortened. So we know the demand is out there. But when will things really get moving again? Will it be this summer? Will it be Q3 or Q4? Whenever it is, and whatever it is, we believe that the right strategies and new technologies will make it all possible to protect the health and safety of performers, rental and staging professionals, and the live audience. We also believe that new insurance strategies are needed to protect everyone's business, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about how to get back to the new normal and grow into the future. The wrong insurance at the wrong time, too little coverage, or coverage that has certain tripwires that when tripped can mean the difference between coverage, some coverage, or none at all. At Take1, we look forward to helping the rental and staging industry offer the extraordinary experiences and opportunities that only live events can offer. Here is a short piece that we put together that encapsulates where we've been and where we are so looking forward to getting back to. I hope you enjoy it.